Listen, you don't need a new year, a Monday, or permission. You need a plan, and you need to take action now. This 1-month plan isn't magic. It's simple, it's real, and it will change your life if you actually follow it. Here's the truth. Your brain is wired to protect you from change. That's why you procrastinate. That's why you stay stuck in cycles that you hate. But you're not lazy. You're just not in control of your habits yet. That changes now. So what's the 1-month plan? It starts with a decision. You decide that every day for the next 30 days you will show up for yourself. You'll set one goal, just one, not 10, not 20. One change, big or small, that matters to you. Then every morning before your brain talks you out of it, you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That's the 5-second rule. You override fear with action. Get out of bed, go for the walk, write the page, send the email, say no to what doesn't serve you. You've spent too long watching others build the life you want. But here's the truth no one told you. You're one decision away from a completely different life. 30 days, one plan, massive change. Will it be uncomfortable? Absolutely. But so is staying stuck. So choose your hard, because this month, it's not about who you were, it's about who you're becoming. Clarity beats motivation because clarity provides direction, while motivation is fleeting. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action, but that approach is backward. Motivation comes and goes, often depending on your mood, energy levels, or even the weather. But clarity, knowing exactly what you want, why you want it, and how to get it, is what keeps you moving forward even when you're tired, scared, or overwhelmed. When your goals are vague, your results are vague. You say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to get in shape. But what does that really mean? What does success look like for you? What does in shape mean specifically? Without clarity, you're constantly second, guessing yourself, switching directions, and getting frustrated because you feel like nothing is working. But the problem isn't your effort, it's the lack of a clear target. Once you have clarity, your actions have purpose. You stop spinning your wheels. You stop chasing shiny distractions. You don't waste time comparing yourself to others, because you know your own path. You wake up with a mission, not confusion. That's power. That's what makes people unstoppable. Clarity also eliminates excuses. When you're clear on your objective and the steps required to achieve it, you can't hide behind the lie of I don't know what to do. You do know. And if you don't, you find out. Clarity gives you a reason to show up every single day, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It becomes your internal compass, guiding your focus, energy, and time. And here's the truth. Most people aren't lazy, they're just unclear. When your brain doesn't have a direction, it defaults to comfort. It chooses procrastination, distraction, or busy work. But when you tell it exactly what the mission is, it adapts. It shifts into problem-solving mode. It starts filtering out what doesn't matter and zoning in on what does. That's why people who succeed aren't always the most talented or motivated. They're the ones with the clearest vision. They know what they want, they've mapped out how to get it, and they stick to that path with ruthless focus. Motivation might get you started, but it's clarity that keeps you going when the emotions fade, when life gets hard, and when everyone else quits. If you want real change, don't chase motivation. Get clear, define the goal, break it down, eliminate distractions, then execute. You'll move faster, stay focused longer, and make decisions with confidence. That's how transformation happens. The 5-second rule breaks hesitation because it interrupts the mental patterns that keep you stuck. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they hesitate. In the space between knowing what you should do and actually doing it, your brain steps in and talks you out of it. You feel the impulse to act, whether it's getting out of bed, speaking up in a meeting, going to the gym, or starting that project. But if you wait longer than a few seconds, doubt creeps in. You start overthinking. You let fear, anxiety, or laziness win. That's where the 5-second rule becomes your weapon. Developed by Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule is simple but powerful. When you feel the instinct to act on a goal, you count backward 5-4-3-2-1, and then you move. No debating, no thinking, just action. That countdown is a mental cue that disrupts your usual habit loop and launches your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision making. You take control of your behavior before your mind can talk you out of it. Hesitation is the enemy of progress. Every time you pause and start thinking, your brain goes into protection mode. It tries to keep you comfortable and safe, which often means avoiding risk, failure, or discomfort. But the life you want, the one filled with growth, opportunity, and success, exists on the other side of that hesitation. The 5-second rule is how you cross that line. It doesn't matter how small the action is. The moment you use the rule, you build courage, you build discipline, you begin to rewire your brain for action instead of avoidance. Every time you count down and push yourself to do the hard thing, you're teaching yourself that you're in charge. Not your fear, not your excuses, not your mood. This rule is especially powerful because it's so practical. You don't need motivation, energy, or even confidence to use it. You just need the willingness to act. You could be dead tired, nervous, or scared, but if you count down and move, you're taking control of your life. Over time, it becomes a habit. You stop waiting to feel ready, and you start relying on action to create results. The 5-second rule is not about perfection. It's not a magic formula, but it is a powerful psychological tool to shift from thinking to doing. Most people stay stuck in their heads. They dream, plan, wish, and talk, but nothing changes until they act. This rule forces action. It creates momentum, and once you have momentum, everything gets easier. Action builds clarity, confidence, and consistency. It gets you out of your own way and back into the game. Change happens in discomfort because growth never comes from staying where it's easy. Comfort zones feel good, but they're silent killers of potential. The moment you settle into comfort is the moment you stop pushing yourself. Real transformation begins the moment you step into the unknown, the unfamiliar, the uncertain, the uncomfortable. That's where you meet the version of yourself you've never seen before. Discomfort is a signal that you're doing something different, something meaningful. It's the pain that comes before the breakthrough. When your muscles burn during a workout, it means they're growing. When your mind resists a new habit, it means it's being rewired. Discomfort isn't punishment, it's progress. It's the necessary tension required to break old patterns and create something new. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They want the results without the struggle. They want confidence without failure, strength without sweat, success without risk. But it doesn't work that way. You can't get better by staying safe. You can't evolve while clinging to what's easy. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is bridged by uncomfortable actions every single day. Whether it's waking up early, speaking in public, leaving a toxic relationship, changing careers, or building new habits, the initial steps are always hard. They're supposed to be that discomfort is a test. It's life asking you, how bad do you want it? And your answer isn't in your words, it's in your actions, the ones you take despite fear, despite resistance, despite not feeling ready. It's in discomfort that you learn what you're really made of. It humbles you, challenges you, and reveals your true limits, so you can break them. It teaches you patience, resilience, and grit. You stop relying on motivation and start depending on discipline. And in doing so, you gain strength, not just physical, but mental, emotional, and spiritual. Discomfort also gives you perspective. When you've struggled, failed, and endured hard times, you don't take victories for granted. You appreciate the journey, you respect the grind, and that humility fuels a deeper hunger to keep improving. You stop fearing pain because you understand it's part of the process. You welcome it as a sign that you're on the right path. Growth demands sacrifice. It demands temporary pain for permanent strength. Every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you choose the harder path, you build character. You become the kind of person who doesn't just wish for change, but creates it. The truth is, nothing great ever came from staying comfortable. The life you want, the goals you dream of, the person you hope to become, they're all waiting for you just outside your comfort zone. You don't grow by doing what's easy. You grow by doing what's necessary, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Show up daily, not perfectly, because consistency builds progress while perfection delays it. Too many people wait for the perfect plan, the perfect mood, or the perfect timing before they begin. The truth is, perfection is a trap. It paralyzes action and feeds self-doubt. What actually matters is showing up every single day, even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's hard. That's how you build momentum. That's how you create results. Life rewards consistency, not perfection. Success doesn't come from doing things flawlessly once. It comes from doing things consistently over time. You won't always be at your best. You'll have off days, you'll be tired, distracted, stressed, but those are the exact moments when showing up matters most. Anyone can perform when it's easy. The real test is whether you show up when it's inconvenient. When you show up daily, you build trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you follow through. That trust becomes confidence. You stop relying on motivation and start depending on discipline. That's when your identity begins to shift. You're no longer someone who just tries. You're someone who does, who persists, who pushes even when no one is watching. Perfection, on the other hand, keeps you stuck. It makes you overthink and delay. It convinces you that if you can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. But that mindset kills progress. Real change comes from imperfect effort repeated day after day. The writer who types a messy paragraph daily grows faster than the one who waits for perfect inspiration. The person who works out for 20 minutes a day transforms more than the one who trains hard once a month. Small actions done daily stack into something powerful. You also learn more through consistent action than you do from perfect planning. When you show up, you get feedback. You see what works, what doesn't, and how to adjust. You evolve through doing, not waiting. And when you mess up, you don't give up. You reset and keep going. That's growth. That's strength. The secret to success isn't about being the smartest, strongest, or most talented. It's about being relentless, about showing up, especially when it's boring, uncomfortable, or tough. Day by day, brick by brick, you build habits, skills, and resilience. You create a rhythm that compounds into mastery. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't aim to be perfect. Just commit to showing up. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do something. Show up for your goals. Show up for your future. Show up for yourself. Every single day. You are not your feelings, and that truth is one of the most powerful realizations you can have. Feelings are real, but they are not facts. They're not commands. They're temporary states that pass through you. They don't define you. One moment you feel confident, the next you feel doubt. One day you feel like quitting, the next you feel unstoppable. If you let your feelings dictate your actions, you'll live a life ruled by impulse, not purpose. Too often, people let how they feel decide what they do. I don't feel like working out, so I skip it. I don't feel motivated, so I won't start. I feel anxious, so I'll avoid the situation. This kind of emotional decision-making leads to inconsistency, regret, and missed opportunities. But the moment you understand that your feelings don't control you, you do. You gain the power to act independently of your emotional state. Your emotions are just signals. They're your brain's way of processing what's happening around you. They're not always accurate, and they're not always helpful. Feeling afraid doesn't mean there's danger. Feeling tired doesn't mean you should stop. Feeling insecure doesn't mean you're incapable. What matters isn't what you feel, but what you do despite how you feel. Discipline begins when you choose action over emotion. When you show up even though you're tired, when you speak up even though you're nervous, when you push through even though you want to quit. That's how champions are made. Not by always feeling strong or motivated, but by refusing to let temporary emotions control permanent decisions. If you woke up today and didn't feel like doing anything, that's normal, that's human, but it doesn't mean you're lazy or broken. It just means you're having a moment, and moments pass. The key is to acknowledge your feelings without becoming them. You can feel anxious and still take the call. You can feel doubt and still pursue your goals. You can feel sad and still take care of your responsibilities. That's strength. The most powerful people in the world aren't fearless. They are simply committed. They've learned how to act even when they feel scared, uncertain, or tired. They don't wait for the emotion to change. They move through it. And in doing so, they often find that action creates better emotions. When you do what needs to be done, you feel proud, confident, and in control. You're going to have days when your emotions feel heavy, but don't let that fool you into thinking those feelings define you. You are not your anxiety. You are not your laziness. You are not your fear. You are the person who can feel all of that and still take action. That's real power. That's real growth. When you learn to separate who you are from how you feel, you become unstoppable.